What's been going on, friends? Wait, you do remember me, right? I hope so. But if not, I'll see what I can do about restoring your memory. Either way, I hope you've been doing absolutely amazing, and thank you for tuning into my video. It's been a long, rough road, but I am back. And I've got a lot of different kind of feelings and emotions swirling around right about now.
Delta, where in TARNATION have you been? You got some dadgum explaining to do, bucko. You think this here ranch runs itself?
Okay, Joe. I know. I already know where you're coming from. Just stick with me, man. We're about to do a little videoception. So I'm gonna try to make it as easy as I can for you to follow along with me here. I told you guys in my last video that there had been a lot that transpired after the video before that. And I also said in my last video that a lot would have happened and be happening by the time I'm making this video. Yeah, I know, sheesh. If you've got a decent chunk of time and care enough about it, I'm gonna do my best to catch you up on things so far. What you see playing here is some Battlefield 2042 128 player rush on the map Breakaway, and I'll speak a bit more on Battlefield at another time, but point being, I hope you enjoy what you'll see throughout the video. I like to think that I still have a pretty decent touch at shooters. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go in chronological order here from the time I uploaded my last real video, which coincidentally was also a bit of a catch-up video. Look, I never said I was good at this whole YouTube thing, okay? Anyways, one of the major things I pointed out in that video was that I was working on a new Discord server, which was very true. So around June of 2021, I decided that I wanted to play games with more than just my usual small group of friends and family. I wanted to expand that and meet other players, basically form a community of sorts. Long story short, in my opinion, it worked, and it worked very well while it lasted. Obviously, I said lasted, so the server and the community is no longer a thing. I honestly don't want to get into too many details on what went right or wrong. That would truly take up a lot of time. But what I will say for now is that it was literally one of the most fun and rewarding things I've ever done in my life. And that probably sounds stupid, but oh well. In the very small chance you're watching this video because of the fact that you were brought into that server, or if you were one of the OGs that was there from the beginning and you want to know more about what happened, let me know and I'll dedicate a separate video for it. That's the absolute least I could do for you. At the time of my last real video, I was just starting the process of moving from Augusta, Georgia, which is where I was stationed before, to my new duty station, which happened to be a wonderful 16 to 17 hour trip. Again, in the small chance that you don't know, there's a lot of small chances going around, but I'm from South Carolina, so being stationed in Augusta was a huge bless. I was able to travel home and see family just about every single weekend. I nearly never had to take leave. The list goes on. I can't really describe what it's like being active duty and being stationed near home. You really have to experience it to fully understand, but point being, it made life a lot easier and better. it doesn't take a genius to realize that having to leave that experience isn't the greatest. When I moved away, I took it pretty rough. I wasn't in a good place of mind at all for quite some time. Now, I'm not here to make a list of things that quote unquote stopped me from making videos, but obviously that situation didn't help my creative side at all. To add fuel, or I guess water, to that fire, it also just happened at that exact same time the Discord community that I mentioned earlier came to an end. Like I've said before, this was something that I was extremely passionate about, and to have something like that no longer exist was very demoralizing. Eventually, I was able to get settled in more and got a bit more comfortable at my new duty station, so that part kind of balanced itself out a bit. So the next biggest thing that happened over the course of this time, I'm not even going to say how long it's been because it feels ridiculous, but the next biggest thing that happened to me was getting married. Whoa, yeah, at this point, I've been married for almost a while, so the odds of you not knowing that are likely zero, but if you didn't, surprise, you may have noticed a certain user named Mystique Prime in some of my gameplay here and there, and also in the comments. That be my missus. So here's a quick recap of how we came to be. We've actually known each other, I think, since 10th grade in high school, which was about 12 years ago, before you go judging my memory on these things. We dated for a while before things just didn't work out and we went our separate ways, and we just talked, here and there over the years to see how one another had been doing, etc. Mystique and I rekindled things about midway through 2021, give or take, and we jumped the broom on May 10th, 2022. Now, it's no secret that getting married is a pretty big leap for just about anybody, especially for myself for reasons that I won't get into in this video. But on top of that, I've also became a dad, but probably not in the way that you're thinking. Again, an overwhelming majority of you guys already know all of this, but if you didn't, in getting married, I accrued 4 young ones as well and became a stepdad. Pretty big stuff, right? A lot of you probably remember the war that broke out in Ukraine in early 2022. If you're sharp, you already know where I'm going with this. If you don't know, don't worry, that doesn't mean you're dull or anything like that. As fate had it be, pretty much right when the war broke out, my division got a deployment notice from the people up top, and my unit was told we were going in. Give or take a month later, we left for Poland in response to the war. Now, I say we as in my unit as a whole. I actually ended up on rear D, which is rear duty, while a huge percent of the rest of the unit went forward. For me personally, I didn't think I could be any luckier. That may surprise you, being that, the army is known for fighting and is kind of what we do. Again, using we as a whole. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but if it came down to it, I'd absolutely roll up to some action and, do what needs to be done. That does not mean that that's what I want to do. And that stands for a lot of us service members. I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm an IT specialist. That's my job. And there ain't many of us with jobs like that are trying to go blow some shit up.
What did he say?
Fast forward a few months, I get tagged to go forward to Poland. Doing some quick maths, that was only a few months after Mystique and I got married, and we were actually finalizing the process for her to be able to move to my duty station. Everybody knows that doing long distance sucks. It especially sucks when you're actually married, and it might as well be a Swiffer vacuum when you were on the cusp of moving in together and it gets scrapped because you have to deploy right outside of a war zone. It doesn't take a genius to know that that did not settle well with me or Mystique at all. The entire time leading up to the deployment, to actually leaving the country, and the duration of while I was there, I was in a terrible state of mind. Those of you who've been on the channel for more than a day know that one of my biggest things is keeping shit real with y'all. Fortunately, I wasn't in Poland for nearly as long as some others had been, but it put a strain on our relationship, my mental health, and my physical health as well. I want to keep moving through the video so you're not sitting here falling asleep, but again, I do want to be real with you guys. One of the biggest issues that arose for me was eating. My diet was an absolute wreck. On average, I was only eating once a day, and there would be days I didn't eat at all. My personal hygiene was in shambles. Showers weren't always a daily thing. My social life was a joke. There was no social life. I could probably count on two hands the amount of times I got out and did things when I wasn't at work. The list goes on, but I honestly think you get the idea. Now, I'm no psychologist, so I don't like to throw around the D word a lot, and quite frankly, I think it's very overused, but I honestly think what I was going through fit that description pretty well. I do want to add that nearly all of this, for lack of better words, was in my own head. The situation we found ourselves in our deployment was not that bad. In fact, there are a ton of soldiers who not only enjoyed the deployment, but would rather have been there than back in the United States. I just wanted to put that out there for clarity and to make a statement that it doesn't take being in a literal war zone or living in a gutter for someone to go through things. You can call it the sissification of the military or society as a whole for that matter if you want, but it doesn't change or lessen anybody's experience when they're going through things like that. Another fast forward through time, and eventually my name came up on the list for movement out of the country and back to the United States. I promise you, I couldn't have been more ready. On to more positive stuff. To make my homecoming even better, Mystique took a flight and got a rental car to be there the second I got cut loose after deployment. Instead of taking a bus back to the barracks, she picked me up and we made a beeline straight to one of my good friends' house who had left the country about a month or so before I did. The reason for that was so that I could pick up my new PC. Yes, before I got back, I ordered a new PC and monitor and had it sent to my friend's house so, it'd be there when I got back. I don't really believe in being like, oh, look at what I got. So if you're curious about my PC, just ask. Next thing up was my car, which I was pretty concerned about being that it had been in, cryostasis or something like Master Chief for over 6 months.
I miss you. Wake me when you need me.
But fortunately, when I got to the car lot, he started up right away without any problems. Literally the next day after I got off the flight, Mystique and I had an appointment to get an apartment, which is where we live today. Then, a few days after that, I took leave and we flew all the way home to South Carolina, where I got to spend some time with family, but it wasn't all fun and games. At the end of my leave, we rented a small U-Haul and drove all of Mystique's and 2 of our kids' things across the country again. I was the one in the dang truck, and believe me when I say I'll never drive a U-Haul for 17 hours again. In hopes of salvaging this colossal documentary of a video, I'm going to try to give you guys a quick overview of what I've been playing since my last videos. It's pretty much been World of Warcraft, Insurgency Sandstorm, Battlefield 1, 2042, and something pretty big I haven't featured on the channel, Ark. I've also played another few games here and there that I'd like to get into more with you guys at another time. So, if you made it to this point, I don't even know what to say or tell you other than maybe congratulations on surviving the Hunger Games or something. What I can say is I hope that I've been able to restore some of your memory of myself. Again, if you've been around for longer than a day, you know that I've said that as long as I have the ability and the drive to create content, I'll always do that, no matter what kind or how long of a break I take. And well, here I am. So what you thinking? Do you remember me now? Kinda, not really. I remember you, but fuck you, Delta. Whatever it is that you're thinking or feeling, I'd like to speak with you about it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this biography about my life for the last while, leaving a thumbs up will let me know and help this video get out to other awesome people like yourself. To see more of my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the bell icon, which will let you know when I upload again. Thank you for watching, and I hope you and I come back sometime.